Hey everyone, Draco Magnius here for another episode, or bonus episode rather, of 999. In the last episode, we discovered that the corpse in the shower wasn't actually Snake because it didn't have a prosthetic arm, but a real left arm. And we also learned at the end that Clover was dead, and I sounded oddly a little, cheerful, which was weird now that I think about it in retrospect. I don't know why I had that upbeat in my voice. Maybe it was more that I was thinking about the fact that there was more of this than... I don't know why it sounded happy at the end. It was weird. After doing it, it sounded weird. But now I'm rambling anyway. Clover's dead. And it's very, very sad. I found her in the first-class bathroom. Now, this is all new, so there won't be any cuts, in theory. Well, not in theory, in fact. This is the ending part. All sound ceased for Junpei. The world was empty, muffled expanse. Then he began to hear his own breathing. Poor Clover. June's mouth moved, but he heard nothing. She tried once more, and then her energy was gone, and she collapsed against the wall. He could have helped her, but he hadn't, and now she was dead. So he stood there, frozen in place. Clover. Junpei, if it's any consolation, you can't beat yourself up over this. You just recently figured it out. She was far away before you could figure it out. Although, I suppose when you first saw it, if you made the connection, you might have been able to save her. But she didn't recognize either that it was her brother, if my theory's correct. So, really no one's at fault here. Besides, I don't think she killed herself. That's too big of a wound for that. Clover. Clover. Why? Why had this happened? He forced his body to move. Each step felt like another nail pounding into his heart. Finally, he was in front of her. He knelt and placed 3 fingers against Clover's neck. No pulse. No breath. But she was still warm, and her eyes were closed peacefully. It would have been easy to think she was asleep. Easy, that is, were it not for the slowly expanding puddle of blood beneath her. He traced its source to her back, a gash just beneath her shoulder blade. Was the weapon a knife, perhaps? If it was a knife, the killer had taken it when they left. When he closed his eyes, he saw Clover's smile. Her innocent smile. Her energy. He would never see her smile again. He could have done something. He could have helped her. His stomach twisted itself into a sickening knot. Seriously, Junpei, don't beat yourself up over this. This is sad, no question, but you're going to destroy yourself if you keep thinking you could have stopped this. The past is in the past. We can't change it. Junpei lifted a limp June from the floor and carried her from the bathroom. Are you all right? It was a foolish question, and he knew it. Yes, I think so. Her voice was weak. The fever had gone down, but the emotional scars she received were not likely to recede as quickly. Junpei laid his hand on her shoulder, and they walked back to the bedroom. You should get some rest. He lowered June until she was sitting against the bed. She nodded once and stared at the floor. There were 4 others in the room. Ace, Lotus, Santa, and 7. They all stared at nothing, their faces drawn and tired, After this experience, I don't blame them. After a while, they drifted into the bathroom to see Clover's corpse themselves. Once everyone was back in the bedroom, Junpei walked slowly to the center of it and looked around at as the slumped figures gathered there. Who was the first to find the body? Me. Seven spoke from behind Junpei. He turned around. Seven's hand was up. Why do you come to this room? To look for Clover. Why else? I found her body in the bathroom. Soon as I did, I ran outside. I got to the top of the stairs by the casino and yelled it as loud as I could. Hey guys, I found her, but it's bad! She's in the bathroom of the first-class cabin! Come quick! Or something like that. When I went back to the bathroom, Ace, Santa, and Lotus showed up real soon after that. But I guess you two hadn't heard me or something, 'cause you didn't show. So I took off down the stairs to look for you. After that, I mean, you know the rest, right? Junpei nodded and closed his eyes. There was one more thing he needed to ask. Seven, there's one more thing I'm worried about. What's that? When we finished all the puzzles in this room and got the door open, you stuck one of those plates in between the door and the frame, right? Why'd you do that? Come on, didn't I already tell you that? I did it so the door wouldn't lock, so you could come back to this room. Oh. You think I did it? Well, I don't know. That kind of depends on what you say, doesn't it? Seven sighed and shook his head. Follow me. There were two doors standing next to one another, the ones that we've been staring at for quite some time. He opened the one on the right. Behind the door was a closet. Seven stepped inside. He stood in front of one of the shelves that filled it and gestured toward a small box. The box was a small metal cube. The safe. He looked at Junpei. And this is where it's all new for me because this is about where it died for me the first time. By the way, I have my laptop plugged in even though it's fully charged because I'm not taking that fucking chance again. This is the reason. This safe. We couldn't open it when we were getting through this room. I figured there might be something pretty important in it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Besides, I figured eventually we might figure out the numbers, what the numbers are for the safe. And if we did, I didn't want to screw around with door 5 again. So I put that plate in the exit door so we could get back in that way. You get it now? But why didn't you tell us if that's the case? Junpei nodded and looked at the safe. He grabbed the handle and shook it. Nothing happened. It was as locked as it had been when Seven found it. There was one change, however. Just underneath the safe was a pile of fine reddish powder. Brown powder. Rust. Junpei stared at it for a moment. Had someone opened the safe, dislodging the rust? Junpei left the closet. Seven followed him back to the bedroom. It was cold and quiet. No one spoke. They sat frozen in place, by shock and grief and fatigue. The room felt tiny and oppressive, and the thick metallic smell of blood filled the room. Junpei turned and headed for the living room. Anything to get out of there. Was there some clue, perhaps? Anything that might lead him to whoever had stabbed Clover? He took his time examining the room carefully. His eyes caught on the door. The door that led to the passageway of door number 5. Behind that door was the dead body of the 9th man. Maybe I should have another look at it, just in case. Quietly, he pushed open the door. The smell hit him like a blow to the face. His lungs contracted, unwilling to inhale such fetid air. Acid boiled up from the base of his stomach, churning what little food was there into a violent froth. It was too much for him, and he vomited. A thin stream of yellow water and bile spattered onto the floor. He wiped his mouth weakly and stared at the dead body. Chunks of torn flesh lay in an arc around the body. What remains of its intestines had slid out onto the floor. The pool of blood that framed it was half dry, but so thick that it had taken on a texture not unlike that of an egg yolk, prepared sunny side up. On the floor next to the broken mass of the man's head lay his glasses, cracked, spidering across the lenses. The blood stains near them had already dried like scabs on the floor. That was when he noticed. It's gone. His bracelet. It's gone. That's true. It had been there when Junpei had gone through door number 5 before. He was sure of it. Right next to the glasses. But now, it was gone. The number 9 bracelet was gone. But why? Had someone taken it? Zero, maybe. I mean, he has free reign of the ship, I'm assuming. And why wouldn't he take it? If they got the bracelet, there's a chance that they could have used it to move further without him. He was turning it over and over in his mind when he heard Seven's voice. Huh? Where'd Junpei go? It drifted out to him from the living room. Junpei walked slowly out of the hallway. Oh, there you are. Were you looking for something in the hallway? Seven looked up as Junpei entered the room. Did you find something? Well, lack thereof, actually. He thought for a moment before he responded. No, nothing. Technically, it wasn't a lie. He hadn't found anything. In a way, in fact, that was the problem. Something he expected to find hadn't been there. The 9th man's bracelet. What's up? Well, I wanted you to take a look at something. What is it? Seven led Junpei back to the bathroom. As Clover's corpse came into view, he felt his heart flip, and then fall to the bottom of his stomach. Something between a sigh and a groan escaped his lips. What is it you wanted to show me? His voice was hollow and empty. I searched Clover's body again. I found this. As he spoke, he moved around Clover's head, then knelt down and flipped over her right hand. What? She was holding a piece of paper. I haven't actually looked at it yet. I didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Basic stuff. Well, I did borrow one thing. He wasn't sure what it meant, but it likely didn't matter. Paper was more important. He picked it up and carefully opened it. There were 2 sentences written on it. The truth had gone, the truth had gone, and the truth had gone. Ah, now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand. What? What is this? Some kind of secret code? Seven peered over Junpei's shoulder at the note. Junpei stepped away from Clover's body and into the living room. He began to pace, attempting to decode the note. The first clue was likely the phrase, sinister hand. Sinister hand means... it's talking about the left hand. Like the left hand of Snake. The one in the bathroom is lying, I'm thinking. Sinister was the term used in heraldry that meant to the left of the bearer of a coat of arms. The left hand. The left hand. What did the left hand mean? Junpei looked at his own left arm. At the bracelet on his wrist. Did the darkness of the sinister hand have something to do with the bracelet? He examined the bracelet closely. There were 2 protrusions on either side of the face. The left and right sides of the face. Left and right. Left and right. Right and left. Truth is gone. Truth gone. It sounded funny. What did it mean? Truth had gone. Truth gone. Maybe those two words. How about reading out loud? Gone truth? What else could they mean? How about reading them backwards? Enog Throot. Nope. Truth gone. Truth had gone. How about switching them? What else could they mean? I'm gonna go with that. Truth, of course, means something that was correct. Something that was fact, in other words. Something that was right. It would follow, then, that gone meant left. Wait a minute. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right. After all, after someone left, they were gone. In this case, however, they clearly referred to their directional homonyms. So that means truth equals right, gone equals left. That seemed to make sense. Junpei looked at the bracelet again. At the two protrusions on the left and right of the face. Junpei. Press them in the following order. Oh, fuck. Okay. Truth had gone. Truth had gone. Truth had gone. There's three of them. Truth is right. Right, left. It has to start with a right, left, I'm thinking. Okay, right, left. Truth had gone. 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 There's three of them. Which means there's 6 total, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm going with this one. I think. Right, left, right, left, right. Right, left, right, left, right, left. And then... one after another, 8 numbers flashed on, then off. On the face of Junpei's bracelet. He checked one more time to be sure. 1, 4, 3, 8. 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1? Huh? Hey, what are those numbers? Junpei didn't answer. He couldn't answer. He had no idea what they were, either. I do. Probably the code to the safe. Besides, he was sure he would forget the numbers and the order they came in if he said anything. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. Muttering the numbers to himself over and over, Junpei headed towards the bedroom. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. Before long, he found himself in front of the safe again. Its lock was the only device he could think of that required a sequence of numbers, such as the ones he just discovered. Besides, someone had opened the safe at least once already. Had Clover come to the bedroom to open it? 1, 4, 3, 8, 3, 4, 2, 1. 14, 38, 34, 21. Junpei slowly dialed the numbers in the bracelet had given him. 1 to the right, 4 to the left, 3 to the right, 8 to the left, 3 to the right, 4 to the left, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Finished. Junpei had heard the small telltale signs of a lock opening. He grabbed the handle, took a deep breath, and pulled it up. Inside was a piece of paper. It was roughly the same size as the one Clover had been holding. Junpei picked it up. This is what it said. Fact number 1. The nonary game was played once before, 9 years ago. Fact number 2. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. Fact number 3. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceuticals CEO, Gentaro Hongu. Cradle Pharmaceutical Chief of Staff, Nagisa Nijisaki. Cradle Pharmaceutical Research and Development Supervisor, Teruyuki Kubata. Major shareholder, Cradle Pharmaceutical, Kage Chika Musashido. I must punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved. I now state the truth. 0. I would have read that in Zero's voice, but I figured Junpei's the one that had it and was reading it, so his voice. Junpei left the closet. There were 5 people waiting for him in the bedroom. Ace, Lotus, Santa, Seven, and June. He looked at each one of them in turn and slowly placed his hands in the pocket of his vest. Sorry, but do you think you could all come with me? Come with you? I want all of you to go to the big hospital room. Why? There's something I want to be sure of. What do you want to be sure of? I want to know if the person I suspect is really the culprit. Wait, then you're saying... Yeah. I think I've got it figured out. I know who killed Snake and Clover. Well, I don't think Snake's really dead, but we'll just cross that bridge when we get to it. The atmosphere in the room changed. Grief was suddenly gone, replaced by tension, like a strap of leather stretched to its limit. 5 sets of eyes were on Junpei. He pretended not to notice. Anyway, if you could please move to the big hospital room, I'll explain everything as soon as we get there. Then, almost as if on cue, the bell began to ring. They all heard it. It was the bell from the clock in the main staircase. The bell rang 5 times, then ceased. Only 1 hour remains. It was 5 o'clock. They only had an hour left. We don't have a lot of time left. Let's go. Slowly, one by one, they followed Junpei out of the bedroom. Actually, before we get started, I was hoping you could do something for me. Junpei stopped in front of door 3 and turned around. Ace, 7, Lotus, could you please place your palms on the red? Huh? Why? If we needed to get to the shower room, why don't we just... No, we're not going inside. Once you've authenticated, step away from the door. Why? Please, just do it. Or perhaps you don't want to know who killed Snake and Clover. Junpei's implication was clear, and 7 understood perfectly. Ugh, fine. What about you, Ace, Lotus? Very well. Sure. Quickly, they pressed their palms onto the red. Once they had finished, they stepped away from the door, just as Junpei instructed. 3 asterisks shone red from the red's display on the panel. Junpei approached it and held his bracelet over the scanner. He made quite sure he didn't place his palm on it, and instead brought his bracelet near it. The 4th asterisk appeared, just as Junpei had expected. It was possible to authenticate without placing one's palm on the red, so as long as the bracelet was brought near it, Junpei pulled the lever down. I get it. So you don't actually have to place your palm on the thing to get it to activate. you could take another bracelet and use it. Door 3 opened like a hungry mouth. 9 long seconds passed. And the door shut, unfed. Junpei walked slowly back to the others, who were waiting some distance from the door, talking to one another. Santa and June had joined them as well. It looked as though they hadn't found a chance to break into conversation yet. As Junpei approached, they turned to look at him, curiosity plain on their faces. Before long, the other 3 did as well. And I just dropped my stylus. Oh good, it's on the bed. I don't have to worry about losing it. Clearly, they were all expecting some answers. Thanks. I appreciate your cooperation. Clearly they'd hoped for something more forthcoming. He continued. By the way, Ace, would you mind if I asked you something? What is it? Do you know who I am? What kind of question? Just answer it, please. Who am I? You're Junpei. Of course. Who else would you be? Unfortunately, that's the wrong answer. Actually, I'm Santa. What? Ace's voice was full of surprise, but it was also tinged with confusion as fear. Everyone else looked nearly as surprised. Santa looked especially shocked to discover he was actually someone else. If he spoke, however, the trap would be exposed. Junpei quickly continued. The clothes I'm wearing I borrowed from Junpei, and the clothes he's wearing are mine. We had a little swap. That's ridiculous! Impossible! So you're saying I'm not Santa? Of course you aren't! Why? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. 1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 3 is 19. 9 plus 1 is 10. The digital root would be 1. But the 4 of us just opened door number 3. You can't possibly be Santa. Your bracelet number isn't 3. It's 5, right? Only then was it too late did Ace realize his mistake. He set his jaw and glared at Junpei. You're exactly right. My bracelet number is 5. As he spoke, Junpei lifted his wrist up to show everyone the bright red 5 on his wrist. Sorry, Ace. I tricked you. Of course, I'm not really Santa. I'm Junpei. Who could possibly think I was? It's obvious I'm not. To think I was. Ridiculous. But I guess you couldn't see just how obvious it was. I asked you before, didn't I? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? And you answered. If you were Santa, then door number 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. Most people would say something like that. Wouldn't say something like that. As their justification for why I'm not Santa, I mean. The first thing that would come to anyone else's mind would be the bracelet number. Wouldn't be the bracelet number. There'd only be one thing they'd say. One sentence. You don't have his face. Ace. You have... Oh god, I have to pronounce this again. Prosopagnosia. Am I right? Junpei's voice was quiet and calm. He knew the truth, and so did Ace. He could hear the sudden buzz of the conversation from the others. Prosopagnosia? What's that? He heard Lotus begin to explain to them. Ace glanced at them, then turned back towards Junpei and sighed. Very well. I confess. I have prosopagnosia. I cannot differentiate human faces. Is that what this was about? You want to mock me for my disorder? No, not at all. I'm not making fun of you at all. In fact, I feel kind of bad for you. No, the reason I brought this up is that there's an excellent chance the person who killed Snake has prosopagnosia. Ace's face tightened. His eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Junpei leaned casually against the iron piping of one of the beds. I'll just come right out with it. I think it was you, Ace. You killed him. Junpei was suddenly very aware of the 5 pair of eyes on him. He had their undivided attention now. The room had grown very, very quiet. Junpei took a deep breath. That's ridiculous. What possible evidence do you... I have 3 pieces of evidence.